What if I told you there's a Toyota Land Cruiser in the Australian Outback with over 1 million kilometers on the odometer, still running its original engine and transmission? Sounds like a fairy tale, right? But it's real, and it's not alone. While modern SUVs are crumbling at 100,000 miles with electrical failures and turbo replacements, there's a secret world of old-school SUVs built so tough, they've earned legendary status in war zones, deserts, and the harshest conditions on Earth. Today, we're counting down 12 SUVs engineered like military equipment, vehicles that laugh at time, mock planned obsolescence, and refuse to die. Stick around, because number 1 is literally the most indestructible vehicle ever built. Number 12, Jeep Grand Cherokee, 1993 to 1998. The first-generation Jeep Grand Cherokee ZJ, with the legendary AMC 4.0-liter inline-six producing 190 horsepower, represents American SUV engineering before bean counters ruined everything. This wasn't some luxurious mall crawler. This was a legitimate off-road machine wrapped in a surprisingly refined package that introduced the world to the modern luxury SUV concept. Paired with either the bulletproof Chrysler 42RE 4-speed automatic or the even tougher AX15 5-speed manual, this Grand Cherokee delivered capability that modern Jeeps can't match. Here's what makes the ZJ legendary. That straight-six engine is virtually indestructible. Owners routinely report 300,000-plus miles with nothing more than routine maintenance, oil changes, cooling system refreshes, and the occasional water pump. The inline configuration is inherently balanced, reducing stress on components, while the cast iron block and simple design mean there's almost nothing to break. No variable valve timing complexity, no turbochargers to fail, just honest agricultural torque that pulls the ZJ through anything. The Quadra-Track and Select-Track four-wheel drive systems are equally robust, mechanical transfer cases that actually work for decades. The interior is agricultural by modern standards, but built from materials that don't delaminate or crack. You're looking at $3,500 to $8,000 for clean examples, which is absurd value for this capability. Rust is the enemy. Check the rear hatch area and frame carefully, but find a rust-free ZJ, and you've got an SUV that will outlive anything modern Stellantis produces. The ZJ proves simplicity equals longevity. But wait till you see what Toyota engineering accomplished at number 11. Number 11. Toyota 4Runner 3rd Generation, 1996 to 2002. The 3rd generation Toyota 4Runner with the legendary 5VZFE 3.4-liter V6 producing 183 horsepower is what happens when Japanese engineers are told to build an SUV that absolutely cannot fail under any circumstances. This V6 earned its reputation in the harshest environments imaginable: Middle Eastern deserts, African jungles, Arctic tundra, and it simply refused to die. This isn't the most powerful engine, but it's one of the most reliable power plants ever installed in a production vehicle. What makes the 3.4-liter V6 legendary? Toyota designed it with old-school simplicity: cast iron block, aluminum heads, timing belt instead of chain for easier field replacement, and engineering tolerances that prioritize durability over efficiency. Owners routinely report 400,000 to 500,000 plus miles with nothing but timing belt replacements every 90,000 miles and basic maintenance. These engines handle severe abuse that would destroy modern turbocharged motors, overheating, missed oil changes, years of towing beyond capacity, and keep running. The 3rd Gen 4Runner itself is built like a brick. Body-on-frame construction, solid rear axle, and interior materials that age gracefully. The manual transmission is bulletproof, while the 4-speed automatic is nearly as tough. Ground clearance is generous, approach and departure angles are excellent, and the aftermarket support is massive. You're looking at $8,000 to $16,000 for clean examples with reasonable mileage, and prices keep climbing as enthusiasts recognize these as investments. This 4Runner represents peak Toyota reliability: agricultural, unstoppable, and honest. But does Japanese engineering match what American trucks accomplished? Number 10 answers that question. Number 10. Chevrolet Tahoe, GMC Yukon, GMT 400, 1992 to 2000. The GMT 400 generation Chevrolet Tahoe and GMC Yukon with the legendary Vortec 700 5.7-liter V8 producing 255 horsepower represents American truck engineering at its absolute peak. This small-block Chevrolet F8 traces its lineage back to 1955, refined over 4 decades into one of the most reliable, most durable engines ever mass-produced. Paired with the robust 4L60E 4-speed automatic transmission and full-time or part-time 4-wheel drive, these SUVs deliver capability that modern trucks can't match despite their fancy electronics. What makes the Vortec 5700 legendary? It's a traditional pushrod V8 with simplicity as its superpower. No variable valve timing complexity, no cylinder deactivation to fail, no turbochargers to explode, just proven American iron that makes torque from idle and runs forever. Owners routinely exceed 300,000 plus miles with nothing more than intake manifold gasket replacements, around 150,000 miles, and basic maintenance. The engine note is that distinctive, small block rumble that sounds purposeful and mechanical. The GMT 400 platform is equally robust. Full frame construction, solid rear axle, and interior materials that survive decades of abuse. These SUVs tow exceptionally well, handle off-road duty without complaint, and parts availability is infinite since the same engines powered everything from Corvettes to delivery vans. You're looking at $5,000 to $12,000 for solid examples, which is ridiculous value for this capability. The GMT 400 proves American engineering delivers when they stick to proven designs. Rust destroys these in the Northeast, so inspect carefully, but find a southern example and you've got an SUV for life. But does American iron match what's coming at number 9? Keep watching. Number 9. Mitsubishi Montero, Gen 2, Gen 3, 1991 to 2006. The second and third generation Mitsubishi Montero, known as the Pajero internationally, with either the 3.0-liter V6 making 173 horsepower or the legendary 3.5-liter V6 producing 200 to 215 horsepower, represents Japanese engineering excellence that most Americans never discovered. These SUVs dominated the brutal Paris-Dakar rally for years, which tells you everything about their durability and capability. Mitsubishi built the Montero to survive conditions that would destroy Land Rovers and embarrass Land Cruisers. What makes the Montero legendary? The 3.5-liter 6 G74 V6 is one of the most underrated engines ever built. Robust SOHC design, forged internals, and simplicity that ensures longevity. Owners report 250,000 to 350,000 plus miles with basic maintenance, and these engines handle severe off-road abuse without complaint. The Super Select 4-wheel drive system is brilliant, offering 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel high with center differential locked or unlocked, and 4-wheel low, giving you capability for any terrain while improving fuel economy on highways. The chassis is overbuilt for serious off-road work. Independent front suspension delivers better ride quality than solid axles, while the rear limited slip differential provides traction modern SUVs can't match. Interior quality is excellent. Genuine leather, real wood trim in higher trims, and build quality that ages gracefully. You're looking at $4,000 to $10,000 for clean examples, which is absurd value considering the capability. The Montero's biggest problem? Americans ignored it, so resale values tanked, which makes these incredible bargains now. Find a well-maintained example, and you've got an SUV that combines Land Cruiser reliability with better on-road manners. But can Mitsubishi match what Nissan accomplished? Number 8 will surprise you. Number 8. Nissan Patrol Y61, 1997 to 2013. The Nissan Patrol Y61, virtually unknown in America, but legendary everywhere else. With the TB48DE 4.8-liter inline-six producing 245 horsepower, represents Japanese over-engineering taken to its logical extreme. This SUV competed directly against the Toyota Land Cruiser 80 series in the Middle East, Africa, and Australia, and in many markets, it actually outsold its Toyota rival. The Patrol earned its reputation in the harshest conditions on Earth: desert patrols, mining operations, and military service, where failure simply isn't acceptable. What makes the TB48DE engine legendary? It's one of the largest naturally aspirated inline-six engines ever mass-produced, and Nissan built it like a marine diesel. Forged internals, massive displacement, and tolerances designed for extreme heat and dust. Owners routinely report 400,000 plus miles with nothing more than timing chain tensioner replacements and basic maintenance. The power delivery is smooth and linear, no turbo lag, just instant torque from idle. Perfect for towing and off-road crawling. The Y61 chassis is agricultural and proud of it. Body-on-frame construction, coil spring suspension all around, solid axles front and rear, and ground clearance that laughs at obstacles. The interior is simple but functional. Durable materials, straightforward controls, and air conditioning that works in 50 degrees Celsius desert heat. You're looking at $15,000 to $30,000 for imported examples, or finding one in Alaska or Hawaii where they were sold. The Patrol Y61 proves Nissan could match Toyota reliability when they wanted to. These SUVs are absolute tanks that refuse to quit. But does Nissan engineering match what Ford built? Number 7 answers that. Number 7. Ford Excursion 7.3-liter Power Stroke 2000 to 2003. The Ford Excursion, with the legendary 7.3-liter Power Stroke turbo diesel V8, producing 235 to 250 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque, is the largest SUV ever mass-produced by an American manufacturer, and it's powered by arguably the most reliable diesel engine ever installed in a light-duty vehicle. This isn't just an SUV, it's a moving fortress that laughs at modern emissions regulations, scoffs at 100,000-mile powertrain warranties, and refuses to acknowledge the existence of mechanical failure. What makes the 7.3-liter Power Stroke legendary? It's a mechanical diesel with minimal electronics, no complicated emissions systems, no DPF filters to clog, no DEF fluid to worry about. Just a robust cast iron block, forged internals, and a single Garrett turbocharger that's been proven for decades. Owners routinely exceed 400,000 to 500,000 plus miles, with nothing more than injector cleaning, turbo servicing, and basic maintenance. The torque is intoxicating. 500 pound-feet feels like unlimited pulling power for towing massive trailers. The Excursion platform is equally overbuilt. Based on the F-250 Super Duty truck chassis, this SUV features a full frame, solid rear axle, and towing capacity up to 11,000 pounds. The interior seats up to 9 people comfortably, and space is nearly unlimited. Parts availability is excellent since components are shared with Super Duty trucks. You're looking at $18,000 to $35,000 for clean examples, and prices keep climbing as diesel enthusiasts recognize these as investments. The 7.3-liter Excursion represents peak American diesel engineering before emissions regulations destroyed reliability. Find one well-maintained, and you've got an SUV that will outlive 3 modern competitors. But can American diesel match what's coming at number 6? Absolutely not. Number 6. Land Rover Discovery Series Y&2, 1994 to 2004. Now suggesting a Land Rover for reliability seems insane, like recommending Italian cars for electrical reliability, but hear me out. The Discovery Series I&2 with the Rover 3.9-liter or 4.0-liter V8 producing 182 to 188 horsepower earned legendary status not for electrical reliability but for mechanical durability when properly maintained. Yes, the electronics are British nightmares, but the drivetrain, chassis, and core mechanical components are virtually indestructible. This is the SUV that conquered continents, served in African safari operations, and earned respect in the harshest conditions. What makes the Discovery legendary despite its flaws? The Rover 5.8, originally a Buick design from 1960, is aluminum, lightweight, and remarkably simple. The engine itself is bulletproof. Owners report 200,000 to 300,000 plus miles when oil is changed religiously and cooling systems maintained. The chassis features long travel suspension, solid axles, and capability that embarrasses modern luxury SUVs. The interior is quirky British charm, alpine windows for the kids, stadium seating, and materials that age with character. Here's the catch. Electrical gremlins are real. Rust destroys frames in salt states, and cooling systems require religious maintenance. But address these proactively, and you've got an SUV delivering capability modern Land Rovers abandoned for luxury. luxury. Parts availability is excellent through specialist suppliers, and the enthusiast community is passionate and helpful. You're looking at $3,000 to $10,000 for solid examples. The Discovery proves British engineering delivers when you accept their quirks and maintain properly. These SUVs are flawed but fascinating, demanding but rewarding. And speaking of quirky reliability, number 5 will shock you. Number 5, Lexus LX 470, 1998 to 2007. The Lexus LX 470 is essentially a Toyota Land Cruiser 100 series wearing a tuxedo, and that combination, Toyota's legendary off-road capability wrapped in Lexus luxury, creates one of the most reliable, most capable, most desirable SUVs ever built. Under the hood sits the legendary 2 UZFE 4.7-liter V8, producing 230 to 275 horsepower, an engine so overbuilt, so obsessively engineered, it routinely exceeds 500,000 miles with nothing but basic maintenance. This is automotive reliability taken to its absolute extreme. What makes the 2 UZFE legendary? Toyota designed this V8 when they still believed in over-engineering everything. Forged internals, individual coil-on-plug ignition, variable valve timing, and tolerances tighter than German competitors. The result? Owners routinely report 300,000 to 500,000 plus miles, with nothing more than timing belt and water pump replacements every 90,000 miles. The engine is whisper quiet, buttery smooth, and delivers power in a linear, refined way that feels effortless. The LX 470 platform is equally legendary. Full-time four-wheel drive with locking center differential, height-adjustable suspension, and capability that matches dedicated off-road vehicles. Inside you'll find Mark Levinson audio, premium leather, real wood trim, and build quality that ages gracefully over decades. The ride quality is supple, the silence is remarkable, and the presence is undeniable. You're looking at $15,000 to $35,000 depending on mileage and condition. The LX 470 represents the peak of body-on-frame luxury SUVs, capable, comfortable, and absolutely bulletproof. Find one with maintenance records, and you've got transportation for life. But does Lexus luxury match pure Toyota toughness? Number 4 answers that. Number 4, Toyota Land Cruiser 80 Series, 1990 to 1997. The Toyota Land Cruiser 80 Series, with either the 1 FZFE 4.5-liter inline-six producing 212 horsepower or the 1 HDT 4.2-liter turbo diesel inline-six making 163 horsepower, represents Toyota engineering at its most uncompromising. This wasn't built for suburban school runs. This was engineered to survive Australian Outback crossings, African safari operations, and United Nations peacekeeping missions in war zones. The 80 series earned legendary status by simply refusing to die under conditions that destroy lesser vehicles. What makes the 1 FZ-FE engine legendary? It's one of the most overbuilt inline-six engines ever mass-produced. Cast iron block, forged internals, and engineering tolerances designed for extreme abuse. Owners routinely report 500,000 plus miles with nothing but timing belt replacements every 90,000 miles and basic maintenance. The engine note is that distinctive inline-six smoothness, refined, mechanical, and confidence-inspiring. Power delivery is leisurely by modern standards, but torque comes on low and steady, perfect for serious off-road work. The 80 series chassis is agricultural and proud of it. Full-time four-wheel drive with locking center and rear differentials, solid front axle, coil spring suspension, and approach angles that embarrass modern SUVs. The interior is simple but durable, materials that survive decades of abuse, air conditioning that works in extreme heat, and controls that remain functional for life. You're looking at $15,000 to $40,000 plus for clean examples, and prices keep climbing. The 80 series represents pure Toyota reliability. No compromises, no shortcuts, no planned obsolescence. These SUVs are investments that appreciate while providing capability. But can even the legendary 80 series match what's coming at number 3? Keep watching. Number 3, Mercedes-Benz G-Class W463, 1990 to 2018. The Mercedes-Benz G-Class, specifically the W463 generation, with the OM 6063.0-liter turbo diesel inline-six, or the M113 5.0-liter V8 represents German military engineering adapted for civilian use, and the result is an SUV that's virtually indestructible. Originally designed for military service in the 1970s, the G-Wagon earned legendary status in the harshest conditions imaginable. This isn't a luxury SUV pretending to be tough. This is a military vehicle that happens to have leather seats. What makes the G-Class legendary? The chassis features 3 locking differentials, body-on-frame construction, solid axles front and rear, and engineering that prioritizes durability over comfort. The OM606 diesel engine is one of Mercedes' greatest achievements, a mechanical inline-six that routinely exceeds 500,000 miles with minimal maintenance. No complex emission systems, no fragile electronics, just robust German engineering from an era when Mercedes built vehicles to last generations. The driving experience is deliberately agricultural. Steering is vague, ride quality is truck-like, aerodynamics are non-existent, and fuel economy is laughable. But step off pavement, and the G-Wagon transforms into an unstoppable mountain goat that crawls over obstacles with contempt. The interior, especially in later models, features premium leather, real wood trim, and build quality that ages gracefully. You're looking at $40,000 to $100,000 plus, depending on year and specification. The G-Class proves German engineering delivers legendary reliability when designed for military duty rather than quarterly profit targets. These SUVs are investments that appreciate while providing unmatched capability. But does German military engineering match pure Japanese toughness? Number 2 answers that definitively. Number 2, Toyota Hilux, 4Runner, 1989 to 1995. The Toyota pickup trucks and 4Runners from 1989 to 1995 with the legendary 22 RE 2.4-liter inline-4 producing 116 horsepower, or the 3 VZE 3.0-liter V6 making 150 horsepower represent peak Japanese reliability engineering. These vehicles earned legendary status not through power or luxury, but through absolutely supernatural durability that borders on the absurd. This is the generation Top Gear tried to destroy and famously failed. They drowned it in the ocean, set it on fire, dropped it from a crane, and it kept running. What makes the 22RE legendary? It's one of the simplest, most robust engines ever designed. Cast iron block, SOHC head, mechanical fuel injection, and engineering that prioritizes longevity over everything else. Owners routinely report 400,000 to 600,000 plus miles with nothing but timing chain replacement and basic maintenance. The engine is agricultural, slow, buzzy, and agricultural, but it absolutely will not die, ever. The power delivery is leisurely, but torque comes on low for serious off-road capability. The chassis is equally legendary. Body-on-frame construction, solid rear axle, and simplicity that means everything is fixable with basic tools in remote locations. These trucks served in every conflict zone, every mining operation, every remote location where failure means death. The interior is Spartan but functional. Durable materials, straightforward controls, and air conditioning that works for decades. You're looking at $8,000 to $20,000 plus for clean examples, and prices keep climbing as these become collectible. This generation Toyota represents absolute peak reliability, vehicles that refuse to die regardless of abuse. But one SUV surpasses even this legend. Number 1 is the most indestructible vehicle ever built. Number 1. Toyota Land Cruiser 70 Series, 1984 to present. The most legendary, most indestructible, most unkillable SUV ever built is the Toyota Land Cruiser 70 Series, still in production today after 40 years with minimal changes. Powered by engines ranging from the 1HZ 4.2-liter naturally aspirated diesel inline-six, making 130 horsepower, to the modern one VDF-TV 4.5-liter V8 turbo diesel, producing 202 horsepower. The 70 Series represents Toyota's commitment to building vehicles that simply cannot fail under any circumstances. This isn't just an SUV, it's the default choice for the United Nations, mining operations, military forces, and anyone who needs transportation where failure equals death. What makes the 70 Series legendary? Toyota designed it as a working vehicle, not a consumer product. Body-on-frame construction, solid axles front and rear, leaf spring suspension, and mechanical simplicity that prioritizes serviceability in remote locations. The diesel engines are virtually indestructible. Owners routinely report 750,000 to 1 million plus miles with nothing but basic maintenance. These vehicles survive conditions that destroy everything else: desert heat, Arctic cold, tropical humidity, war zones, and decades of severe abuse. The driving experience is deliberately Spartan. No luxury pretensions, no advanced technology, no comfort features, just honest capability. The interior is washable vinyl, controls are simple mechanical switches, and air conditioning is optional. But step off-road, and the 70 series transforms into an unstoppable force. Ground clearance is massive, approach and departure angles are extreme, and capability is unmatched. You're looking at $50,000 to $80,000 plus for imported examples, since they're not sold new in America. The 70 series represents absolute peak reliability and durability. This is the SUV that will outlive civilization itself. This is automotive immortality. Never sell it. And there you have it. 12 SUVs built like tanks that refuse to die, refuse to quit, and refuse to become obsolete. These represent engineering from an era when manufacturers built vehicles to survive, not just to satisfy quarterly earnings reports. Thanks for watching SUV Detective, where we celebrate automotive legends that actually deserve the praise. If you loved this, check out our video on the most reliable pickup trucks that laugh at 500,000 miles. You won't believe what we found. Click that now, and remember, real SUVs don't need fancy electronics to be great. They just need to be built right.